So let's talk about this about manga versus self-help and all those good things that books lover love to do. I'm I wasn't as much passionate about books a long time ago until now, or until somewhere around 2014 or 15. As you build habit of reading, you get passionate. Like you when you read it, it's as if you're in another world. Well, it takes time when you're in reading a novel, right? Not fiction, because you have to get what the author is trying to convey and the story of the characters, and you have to see it. It's a little bit difficult because sometimes when I transition to reading self-help, a lot of self-help, to reading non-fiction, reading fiction, it's a little bit harder because they're like, oh, a little bit different because usually non-fiction or self-help is where you take that piece of like when you read it, it's quick, and when you see it, you can take the information and you can use it. The not the fiction is you can't really use it, or you can like write it down, whatever you're interested in, try to remember it. So let's go with this. So manga versus self-help books, and I'm gonna tie it into also the law of attraction into it. So let's go. All right, so let's talk about this. There's like I think there's I don't I never want to go extreme because I like all of them. Some people do go extreme with these things. Like people would either hate anime, but I love anime, right? Um, and some people would hate self help, but they love fiction. So let's go with that, right? When it comes to manga and anime, that's actually one of my passions. That's why I draw. But anime, people don't like anime. I don't know. Some people say it's cartoon or stop watching it to grow up. But what they don't understand is manga and anime, uh, these type of things that I'm holding. These are Japanese manga, and they're fun to read actually, because they're action. And I never actually read American comic book, but Japanese comic book are like these, like right there, right? And I enjoy reading them. When I was a kid, I grew up reading these things. And why I read them? Well, because they're cool. Because you know, I love these things. Like Ronnie Kenshin. If you never read his this Ronnie Kenshin, and this is about Go, or like Chinese board game where Japanese make it popular, but it was written in a Japanese. Because see, usually American is they read from left to right, but this is right to left. So you would read it like this way. First you read this way, and then it's weird, right? But from my point of view, I I think that manga, for me, manga, the reason why I like anime and manga, see, it helps you with your imagination. It expand it, like anime explore what you can see and explore and all the realm of possibility, because adults, they close off. They have to, like, some adult watch like cartoon because they were because they have kids, but they wouldn't watch it if they have kids. But for me, I would still watch it because any cartoon, any manga that would interest me, I would watch because it's interesting. If you think about it, manga and anime give you the imagination that otherwise we try to suppress in the school system. We suppress it. We use the logical side. That's why I disagree with this guy. He talked about the law of attraction, and I get into it, but I disagree with what he said about anime. He said, you shouldn't, like. That's why he don't watch anime and stuff like that. But I disagree with that because there are people who are into anime, so am I. And anime give you the it's like you get to, like, when you are Animation is like you get to like you imagine that sometimes you're them, or sometimes you have power, or sometimes you have the skills and stuff like that. Now that's the whole thing. Personal development people hate too, because I remember there was this lady, she was talking about self help. Like I don't, and she's like, yeah, I don't know why people buy the books and give it away. Maybe they have too much book. Maybe they don't need to use it. Maybe they got it for free. But I told this lady that, yeah, it's because some people when they go into self help, they read the book, but they don't take action on it. That's would be pointless. And and I told her I actually use self help, but I told her, yeah, since I have to talk to the average person or normal people, which they don't understand about the higher realm and the law of attraction. So I have to dumb it down, water it down when I talk to people, right? I don't talk to weird. I don't talk about law of attraction or weird stuff because they would get freaked out and they would like hate it because they don't believe in that, right? Or there are some people who believe in that, and I'll talk about it when it piques my interest, and if I know that they know it, then I'll talk about it. But if they don't know it, I don't talk about it. But I told her that I use self help to also to like because I read a long time ago. I used to read like how to get a job because we don't learn how to get a job. We never taught how to be able to get a job or a career that we want. We were indoctrinated to be able to go the path that um, either society or parents chose for you. But I told her I use it because it builds skill. It builds skill to develop how to persuade the interviewer because they're interviewing you. So to get a job, 100% all the time I get it, but you know she don't understand that. But there's a whole lot of things that get into getting a job. Um, anyway, when it comes down to it, she was into fiction, right? So there's another, like, people are into whatever they're into. I'm like all over the place. I can read fiction. I can read mainly I read personal development because it's interesting. But I don't just read personal development. I don't just read that. I just read what interests me, like space, like Neil Tyson, deGrasse. No, Neil deGrasse, because it's interesting, space and black holes, and um, what was it? I forgot what he's talking about. Dark matter and dark energy, stuff like that. So there's a whole different range of where people who get into fiction, they don't like personal development. They think personal development is yeah. But I believe that if we can use fiction, I mean, whether or not you're still reading, if you think about it, we can bring these two together. Like, if you think about it, personal development, lack imagination sometimes, right? They throw away, or maybe I shouldn't say that. They actually, by practice, say you should use your imagination. So I shouldn't say that. I should say that personal development needs somewhat of imagination sometimes, more than most. So they should try rereading fiction. And fiction people should try reading self-help and use it. But the problem is they like fiction. So there are people who like fiction. So I'm not knocking it. But if you want to change your life, you have to use all these components together, like fiction, nonfiction, and mangas or American comic, because it infuse a principle of holistic. Like you're not missing a piece. Like for instance, when you're watching anime, like some people like to watch dramas, um, watch action film, horror film. Usually, I stop watching horror films. I do occasionally, but I can't sleep at night. Usually, I imagine that they're there. I know that you say I'm crazy, but I can't watch like scary stuff at night. It's too scary. Um, but anime, drama, and movies, it incorporates imagination, right? And sometimes they have good quotes, sometimes they have good lines. I think we shouldn't be like, because see, when I talk about, some people would don't like reading biography. I like reading biography, but sometimes when they make it too hard, it takes really like the reason why I read, because if you check all the biography of anyone who do great things like Benjamin Franklin, he reads, right? I checked that. I was like, wow, he reads. I didn't know that. And this guy, Elon Musk. I like Elon Musk because he's a pretty interesting guy. Um, just bought this. Chose Yourself. A pretty good book. And then see, personal development, self-help, law of attraction, and high performance habits by Brandon Burchard. He's a good guy for leadership and law of attraction stuff. So I'm not. What I'm trying to say is, I think that we should have used imagination and take action on that, because in essence, we are when we're creating the life that we want, we're in essence using our imagination. We're designing our life or our future. That's still using our imagination. We're still seeing an image, a picture of what we want to one day uh, uh, be, or one day to be there, and we're still using it. So I'd rather use my imagination than not. It's just that you have to take it in another new life. But also, it's like people don't read. It's because it was too hard. But the problem is, we are living in an age where everything is just like people are confused. People are confusing, and people don't understand that if they understood that we don't have to destroy imagination and bring it to the surface, right? That's why I draw. Well, I do draw, but not as much because I gotta. What I'm trying to do is trying to get my message out there, and this right here is to remind me of what inspired me, because I am the alchemist of my life. I'm creating all the time. Just that I have to bring that to the surface, and so do you. You have to bring that to the surface and bring that to light. That you have the power within you to create whatever you want it to create. You're the alchemist. You're you're the artist of your life. You're the author. Stuff like that. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye. Oh, subscribe to my channel, like and I'll see you.